Some of the most exciting discoveries of the 20th century have been the field of genetics, the study of genes. Genes exist in every cell in a person's body. They contain instructions that affect how that person looks and behaves, from whether their eyes are blue and brown to whether they are good or at sports. Genes are made up of a chemical called DNA. In the 20th century, medical breakthroughs came thick and fast. During the two world wars, doctors had to work quickly to come up with new treatments for battlefield wounds and for diseases that spread rapidly among the soldiers. Antibiotics had been discovered back in 1928, but it was only during the Second World War that they were first used to kill germs and treat illnesses. After the war, the breakthroughs continued. In 1900, the average life expectancy had been less than 50 years, since many babies died in infancy. But by 1980, far fewer babies died and people lived longer. Meanwhile, discoveries about genetics led to strange experiments such as cloning, creating an exact replica of a plant or animal, and genetically modified food crops such as rice or tomatoes to make them grow bigger or to give them resistance to diseases. 1950s. Scientists developed contraceptive pills to prevent pregnancy for women who don't want to have a baby. The pills became available to the public in the 1960s. 1953. Two scientists, the American James Watson and British Francis, discovered the spiral structure of DNA, the chemical which makes up people's genes. They later received a Nobel Prize for their work. 1967, the first South African Dr. Christian performs the first successful heart transplant. His own brother had died of heart problems at the age of 5. The following year, surgeons performed the first heart transplant in Britain. 1954, doctors successfully tested a vaccine for polio. Polio is an infectious disease which attacks muscles and often leads to death. 1970s, medical lasers are used for the first time in eye surgery. The lasers are much more precise than scalpels, which had been used before. A vaccine is developed to protect people from measles, mumps, and rubella with a single injection. In 1988, it is introduced in Britain. 1981, a terrifying new disease called AIDS is reported. It is caused by a virus known as HIV, which attacks the immune system. The disease has spread across the world, and to date, no vaccine has been found. 1978. Louise Brown is born. She is the world's first test tube baby conceived in a laboratory instead of inside her mother's body. Wearing a red ribbon shows support for people suffering from AIDS. 1990s. Scientists modify the genes of crops to produce modified foods, but there are debates often how safe crops are and whether they damage the environment. Deadly BSE, or mad cow's disease, infects thousands of British cattle. It also spreads to humans, though through beef. Millions of cows are killed to try to stamp out the disease. 1997. Scientists used genes from one sheep to produce another, which they called Dolly. She's the first ever clone, and it is identical to the sheep from which she was produced. Since the 70s, people have become increasingly worried about the damage that humans cause to the environment. Deforestation is driving many species to extinction. Some substances, such as the gas in aerosol cans, damage the ozone layer. This is the layer of protective gases that surround the planet. Burning fossil fuels, such as coal and oil, cause global warming. This is a slow rise in air temperature, which could have a serious impact on the world's climate.